This isn't a stock market, but we're still going to be doing some buying or selling regarding some trade rumors involving the Raptors of late. What's up, everybody? It's JJ Buckets. First quick little note from me is I've been sick the past couple of days, so if it does, come to the forefront at any point in this video, I do apologize ahead of time. But the usual drill, folks. Like the video before we fully hop into things. It really helps the algorithm out a lot. Like, you guys did a fantastic job last time. Please, I would love to see that again. If you're new here as well, subscribe to the channel. And if you plan on doing any responsible sports betting in the future, just make sure to check out my link in the description for a really great sign-up bonus. Besides for that, let's hop in the video. The first one here should be a name that Raptors fans are fairly familiar with at this point, and it is Myles Turner. Another recent report from Shams has come out that the Raptors are among the teams, including them and the Lakers, that are really going after Myles. And my god, it pains me every time a rumor like this comes out because, again, for anybody that's followed the channel, I've talked about Myles Turner a lot. I like Myles Turner. Myles Turner, the player, is a fantastic fit on the Raptors. His only big noticeable flaw in terms of what I would say that the Raptors need is he's not really that great of a rebounder, but besides for that, he is such a good presence, I would say, running to the rim, stretching the court offensively, and then defensively, he's such a fantastic rim protector. I think he can switch out a little bit as well too. So he just seems like such a hand in glove fit for the Raptors. Which is why it pains me. Well, when it comes to whether or not we're buying or selling the rumor, it's tough. It's somewhere in between where I'm holding on this rumor because I believe that the Raptors are interested. I believe that there's genuine interest there, but just based on the history, right? I gotta be selling the realistic expectations of whether or not this happens. Now, on one hand, you can argue things have changed for the Raptors. They're not sitting in as comfortable a position anymore as they have been, say, last season, where you may have seen a rumor like this already, but now the Raptors might be a little more desperate. Their team, quite frankly, isn't as good this year. Obviously, the Raptors are off to a rocky start, and the glaring weakness of a true five-man is becoming more and more apparent, where you could argue that you would be buying this rumor this year because the need is just so much more pressing and so much more evident. And, with some players' contract situations, the time to make a deal is more so now than ever. But just on history alone, it's just, we've seen this link before, and it's the boy who cried wolf, right? Where it's how many times can I hear this exact same thing, get excited for this exact same thing, and then not see it come to fruition? So I'm not buying, I'm not selling, I'm copping out. I am holding on this one for now. The next one here is an interesting one because it was one that I kind of passively touched upon in previous videos before the actual rumor mill hit and, it surfaced. Zach LaVine. Now, Zach LaVine is an interesting one because he does add a very, very needed scoring dynamic to the Raptors, especially in the half court, just a guy that can go get his own bucket. But for a few reasons, I think I gotta be selling on this one. Listen, Zach LaVine's a good player. Zach LaVine's a very good player. And in theory, he could fit well with the Raptors, but there's a couple reasons, at least, why I don't see it happening. Number one, if we're talking about the fit strictly itself, Zach LaVine is not a good defender. Straight up, Zach LaVine is not a good defender. And we have seen Nick Nurse get abundantly frustrated with players for not playing good defense. So you bring in a negative on that end of the basketball court like a Zach LaVine. Does the fact that he's a talented offensive player outshine the fact that he's ultimately going to need to be, to some extent, hidden on the defensive end for a defensively obsessed coach like Nick Nurse? Furthermore, with Zach LaVine, is he really a talented enough offensive player to really put the Raptors over the top? Well, considering where they're sitting right now, I would definitely say no. Simply put, just no. It's similar to the trade rumors for the past few years, or at least a couple years ago, whenever it was, of Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's a good player. Bradley Beal's a very good player. Is he the piece that puts you over the top? No. Before CJ McCollum got traded, I was sitting here thinking the exact same thing, you know. There was at least a couple of links to the Raptors, and is CJ McCollum worth it for the, or was he worth it for the Toronto Raptors? I would still argue no. Obviously he's been a good fit in New Orleans, but you know, of what the Raptors would be asking to do of him, he's just not worth it, straight up. He would have been, quite frankly, a worse version of Fred VanVleet. Don't at me. And then, yeah, that's kind of similar to how I feel about Zach LaVine here. And on top of all of this, it's his contract, right? Like, it's absolutely going to be massive. Like, he just got his payday, and he's having a down year this year. Again, you can argue a change of scenery would give an uptick to his production, but again, would it uptick his production enough to really see value to the Toronto Raptors here? No, I don't think so. At least you can argue with me in the comment section whether or not you think Zach LaVine really does help the Raptors enough that it is a worthwhile trade, but ultimately I would say no. Selling on this rumor, the Raptors and Zach LaVine, I don't see it. The last one here is one that's been around, I would say, for a while and just keeps resurfacing again and again. It's Jakob Poeltl, and quite frankly, I'm gonna be quick and to the point with this one. I'm gonna say we're buying this rumor, but it has to be at the right cost, right? Like, I think the Spurs may be thinking that Poeltl's value is a little bit higher than it actually is, or at least they're trying to get obviously more than he might actually be worth. And if that's the case, I think I would sell this. But if the Spurs are willing to trade him at the right price, which for a team like Toronto that's currently slumping and quite frankly I don't think is throwing themselves at the idea of giving up their draft picks right now, if Poeltl comes at the right price, I absolutely think the Raptors take this one. I mean, look, similar to Myles Turner, he fills a lot of needs for this team, and I guess differently to Myles Turner, he actually is a good rebounder, but also different to Myles Turner, he's not as good of a stretch the court option offensively, which is fine. I mean, for the value that Jakob is going to give you otherwise, I think you would take him, absolutely, if you can get him at the right price. If that right price doesn't involve giving up this year's first round pick potentially, or, you know, like if it's the first round picks that I think you're going to hesitate on considering where your team is at right now. And I mean, look, the Raptors could still be poised to bounce back this season. I mean, we know the injuries this season. We know that's quite frankly a big reason why the Raptors haven't been so good. I mean, obviously there's plenty of other flaws on this team. Don't get me wrong, it's not just the injuries. There are plenty of flaws on this roster that need to be addressed. But I think given the right opportunity for a fairly cost-effective trade, I think the Raptors absolutely jump on the idea to get Jakob. That is pretty much it for me. What do you folks think? Which of these rumors do you like? Which of these rumors do you hate? What can you realistically see the Raptors doing in what has been a tumultuous season, to say the least? Comment below, let me know your thoughts. And again, to reiterate the usual drill, if you're still watching this video, you like this video, so just hit that like button for me. It goes a huge way. There's a reason every content creator on YouTube asks you to do it. It genuinely helps out so much, so thank you ahead of time if you're doing it. If you're new here as well, subscribe to the channel. Again, I'm usually good for at least one video a week. I'd like to increase that production. I've talked about it before. Just give me a little bit of, I know I keep saying it, but just give me time. I gotta figure it out. It's been JJ Buckets, it's been real, and I will see everybody next time.